baby. Oh man, if I was planning on having any more kids, you can best believe the next one, male or female, would be named Sam Porter Motherfucking Bridges. That's my first F-bomb for the night. I get 5 before getting banned. I hear tell, so that's one of my 5. Anywho, what's going on, good people? I'm here getting it in now. There was another one that was time sensitive. Where is it? It's a 300. There she is. And we need to go see the Is that a new person? Or have I already been to that person? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I've been there, that ugly sucker. And of course, not paying attention to detail, I clicked the wrong button again. It's this button, then this button. New student says, help you. What's up, new student? Welcome. Yeah, I've got to actually, once the rest of the audience gets here, I've got a question. I've got a little dilemma on my hands, and I need to get y'all's input because the decisions that I make in this case will affect you. How great the effect will be on you really depends on, what's it called? You know, it depends on how involved you are with the stuff that I do on social media. So, but I do have a dilemma that I want to get y'all's advice on. I want to get your input. I want to get your feelings on. There are no wrong answers. It's just about me going through my decision-making process. And because this decision is going to affect you guys the most, well, obviously it's going to affect me the most, but it's going to supremely affect the way that you consume my content. So I want to make sure that I'm making things easier, not creating more unnecessary friction. So I'll get into that in a second, and I'll get you guys help with that dilemma. So if anybody thinks there's an emergency going on, everybody be cool. We're good. I actually just bringing you guys here to do one of our normal hangout streams. I've been pretty much on the run all day today taking care of things, so I'm just now getting here. But I do want to get y'all's. I'm going to wait for the bulk of everyone to get here so I can get a lot of the input from our regulars, because that is who this decision I'm about to make is going to affect most. And I will say that the decision is about how to continue, and in some cases, if to continue producing content and where. All right, so I've got some issues that I'm running into. They're actually issues I've had for a long time. I'm just now in a place where I don't need, but I'd like to make a decision about how I handle it. So I'll be roping you guys into this decision. Good God, man. Damn, you can't even carry it all. This mission, this dude's a whore for even coming up with this mission. You suck. You suck. Your life sucks. You're a sucky human being. I'm not doing this damn mission. Screw them. Screw every designer that made those types of missions in this game. I hope you're not making video games anymore. Now I'm kind of joking. I just hope not to play any more games that you make, because that's some horse shit. That's ridiculous. Anywho, let's take some comments here. What should I do? I guess I could do the roboticists. Yeah. Let's get the roboticists. Who else we got? That one's fragile, but we probably can handle it. I'm not doing any snatch and grab shite. You can kiss all of my butt cheeks. Every last one of them. Oh, yeah, but Hartman's delivery is time sensitive, so definitely not taking that mission. Alright, neither of these are time sensitive, so let's get... Nope, damn it, I did it again! God, Kojima and damn menus, brah. He's obsessed with them. Or at least his mechanics designers are, if that's even a thing. Alright, Hunter says, checking in, what's up? Who needs to get these digital... Oh, no, not that kind of help. I appreciate it, though, man. Everybody's doing fine, we're doing great. I just have some decisions I gotta make about producing content. I need to get y'all's input. That's all. Everybody's cool. No hands need to be issued. Maintain peaceful disposition, sir. And I'm gonna go down here to one of my favorite traveling systems in the world, the zip line system. Now we're going to the roboticist and the geologist. And let's see, typical Iowa says, you need our help? Of course. course I do. Why wouldn't I? Boom. Alright, let's pause so I can get an idea of where I am actually headed, which I thought was the geologist and the robot assist. So we're going to go around the far way. Alright, other way, bruh. Showtime. What up, Pocket Thoughts? Good to see you. You want long guns or pistols? Long guns. Long guns are almost always preferred, my friend. Turn the game down. This thing's screaming in my ear. Alright, Richard Berry says, new viewer, how's it going? Richard Berry, welcome. It's going fantastic. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. God bless you. I hope everything's going well in your life. But everything's going fantastic, man. Thank you so much for asking. New student says, affect us. Okay, I'm a veteran and watch your videos from time to time. I know you help people and especially veterans. This is correct. You got it under, you have it all figured out there, new student. Well said. Harlequin says, hey man, what's good? You're good, Harlequin. Good to see your face. Pocket Thought says, hey, Hunter, loading up. Richard Berry says, keep streaming, brother. We enjoy your brand of humor and tact. Well, thank you. That's really good to know, man. I appreciate that. Hunter says, okay, I got Doc. That's 45 minutes out, B. I got your call. Ray, what up, man? Kind of busy, but I saw the name of your live. What's going on, brother? Hey, I just have some decisions to make about producing content. Go save the world, Ray. Go keep doing what you're doing, brother. The world needs you more than the stream needs you, brother. Keep winning. Typical Iowan says, why use zip lines when you can use ladders? Because ladders won't let me travel halfway across the map of this game extremely quickly. Hence, that's why I'm not using ladders. Jason Kevin Free Hodge says, how do you stream? Well, there's a number of ways to do it. But the simplest way is to be on social media platforms that allow it. So in this case, YouTube. And then I'm streaming from my PlayStation, which doesn't require me to set up any additional software, which is, believe it or not, one of the reasons why I started doing gaming streams is just because they're easier to pull off. Don't require as much equipment. You guys don't have to see me looking my normal state, which is disheveled. Clean, but I look homeless. I don't smell homeless. I actually smell rather nice. But I don't have to be presentable if I'm not on a camera. So, there you go. Alright. Let's see, Pocket Thought says, love the love hunter had tacos. My daughter's suggestion. I believe she will be my savior. Ray says, no, I need you to be at your best shape so you can help me on the task, brother. You're the core, and I'm just the arm. I'm here. You might be the arm in my mission, brother, but you are the core in yours. Believe that. I'm 100% good, man. Me asking for help is legitimately just bringing you guys here to have a conversation about how we make content in the future. Nothing's wrong. I'm not upset. Nothing bad's happening. We're all, life is fantastically, amazingly awesome. So no worries, man. But if you want to stick around, feel free to do it. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to admit to you guys right off the break that some of this is hard for me to articulate and explain because I don't fully understand it, right? I'm working through some things that I can't fully explain how I feel about it or where my head is at. So you just have to bear with me doing the best I can to explain everything that's going on, right? So let's talk about, I guess let's take it from the perspective of live streams first. Right, so what you guys may not know about me is I was certified by YouTube about 6 years ago. I went through YouTube certification process, so I'm very, very familiar about how YouTube works behind the scenes, right? How the sausage is made, basically, with videos, how they get promoted, why you get copyright, not just why you get copyright claims, but I actually have access to the tools. Right now, if you uploaded a video and used a clip from one of my videos or an audio from one of my videos, I could actually have it taken down. Like I could copyright claim you. Like I have access to those tools, right? So I understand how the YouTube machine works uh, at as in depth a level as you can if you're not an engineer designing the algorithm, right? Because obviously there's things I don't know because Google is very, very secretive about their shit. Worse than probably all of the other social media companies when it comes to that. Facebook was really open with me when I used to deal with them. TikTok has been completely open with me about the stuff that's going on. You know, the stuff they can, obviously. But way more open about it, I guess is what I'm saying. Anywho, live streams. Let's talk about it. And specifically, I want to talk, let me break it down like this. I want to specifically talk about what we're doing here. The gaming slash, so this kind of collector versus wild environment that we've created, right? Where I play games and we have fun, but we also talk about life and business strategy. But really, the impetus for these streams is first fun, then let's get everyone in a comfortable, you know, state where you can share your heart, share your mind. You're safe to say whatever you want here, and then, you know, we can talk about real life stuff. Here's the challenge, though. Like, and I also produce sporadically. It's a hobby. I have no intent to make it into a business. I'm not really trying to make any money from it. It's just something I do because it gives me some joy, right? Which is these gaming streams and the videos I do about collecting video games. All right, so I have a show called Collector versus Wild. On that show, our mission is to collect, play, and discuss every video game ever. Right? You can see I've been doing these collection videos on TikTok where I show a lot of the things that I'm adding to my collection. In fact, just about 20 minutes ago, I filmed my last the collecting that I did tonight. And what's funny is I think people probably think I'm spending all this money on games. They're like, I get shit cheap. I'm a frugal bastard. But anyway, and when I buy games, it's tax deductible. But that's for another discussion about business. Back to the point here. When it comes to the gaming specific content, right? And is that one of the people I need to deliver to? That is the geologist. Yes. Let's go see him or her. I don't remember which. When it comes to, hey Shannon, when it comes specifically to the gaming related stuff, the Collector versus Wild show and these streams, one of the challenges I have, more so about the videos than the streams, so we'll talk about the videos and then we'll circle back to the streams. And if you're just tuning in, I'm not trying to be intentionally vague. This stuff's just hard for me to explain because I don't fully understand where I'm at with it, okay? Anywho, so let's talk about the Collector versus Wild show first. Here's what I know about YouTube. All right, and this is what I've been, when I used to coach a lot of YouTubers, this is what I told them back in 2014. I said, YouTube is going to, they've already begun, but it's going to get worse. They're going to cannibalize all of you independent creators that are bringing them eyeballs, right? They're going to cannibalize you and turn that attention towards Jimmy Fallon, turn that attention towards Conan O'Brien, turn that attention now toward the NFL because they got smart about how to approach YouTube, right? Like I was in talks with Gold's Gym, I think last year or the year before, telling them like, you guys got to step your fucking game up. You are the McDonald's of fitness and you have no presence here. Like what, like in the videos you put up, and I said it way nicer, but what I was trying to tell them was, whoever's running your video department, it's shit. Like, what are you doing? Right? But I had said, like, YouTube's going to start to cannibalize these independent creators, right? They'll still keep their war horses like PewDiePie and all of them alive, but they're going to cannibalize everybody else because they're going to want to turn this platform into they're going to want to turn this platform into something that can compete with Netflix, Amazon, and Netflix and Amazon, right? So in order for them to do that, they've got to take the attention and start to focus it on their paid shit and on premium content that's brought to you by people that already have a ton of authority. Basically, YouTube in a lot of ways has become TV. And they're making a lot of the same mistakes if you read the book called Three Blind Mice, which is how the major television companies went under. YouTube's making a lot of those mistakes now. The major mistake I think they're making is they're almost, I can't prove this, but they're very, very much sold out to advertising companies. That's why all your shit can't have cuss words in it anymore. Like, they are selling their soul to the advertising companies, and advertising companies want everything to be clean and pristine and no strife and no hate and nothing that could put a bad blemish on anything, so that we can keep everyone in a docile, happy state so we can sell them shit. Right? And so, in order to do that, they got to get people like Conan O'Brien on the platform, because the 13-year-olds watching gaming streams aren't buying the fucking BMWs that are in the ads. And that, I've been saying for years, like, all of the ad producers on YouTube suck, because like, I would look at the ads they show me, I'm like, you clearly do not do your fucking research. Or you're a company like BMW that just has money to throw at the wall and you advertise to everybody, right? But so knowing that, YouTube, and I started preaching about that back in 2014. I even stood on this, I think it was this channel, not my previous channel, but it doesn't matter. I held a copy of Google's financial report in my hand on the stream and read it to the audience. And I told you guys, this old adpocalypse shit that everyone's freaked out about for the last couple of years, I told you guys this was coming back in 2014. Because Google is vulnerable financially on the YouTube platform specifically. Actually, Google period is vulnerable financially. And I said, they've got to make money, and it's got to come from somewhere, and it ain't coming from, like, it's not going to come from Philip DeFranco the way, no disrespect to him, I'm sure his shit is dope. I don't really watch it, so I can't speak to it, but I imagine he got to a level of popularity he got to because he's dope. But he's not going to pull, and I may be completely wrong numbers-wise, but in somebody's perception, Conan O'Brien is more important. In somebody's perception at YouTube, Conan O'Brien is more important than Philip DeFranco. Now, that's where I think YouTube and Facebook and these companies are getting it wrong. Is like, no. Philip DeFranco is going to be way, in the long run, way more relatable to more people. But anyway, that's a separate discussion. Anyway, sold out to the advertising companies. As such, when that was going on, people started to notice that making content got harder to get views. All right. Now, one of the primary reasons why it got harder to get views was YouTube had to then focus on, okay, we've got all the attention, but our growth has diminished, meaning every year YouTube still gets new membership, but that number of growth gets smaller and smaller, dated back to about 2017, 2018. And I preached that too. I said, 2018, shit's going to change because money's going to change. Like, people aren't still coming to the platform, y'all. We got to do, you need to be ready for this reality, right? So anyway, what happened as a result is everybody on YouTube then had to get super 100% focused, like niche-wise, if you wanted to get any semblance of attention and growth, right? So if you were a channel like mine that talks about everything under the sun, you were pretty much done on YouTube. I'd say that goes back as far as probably 2017, right, at the earliest, maybe further. But so, for example, when I have 30,000 or so people that follow me, and no one watches a video, that's telling me a couple things. Well, first, I spent a lot of time building an audience of 30,000 people who are not interested in what I'm talking about now. But for nobody to see it at all, to especially when I know gaming content, market-wise, cuts across every market. So no matter what you're into, your demographic, even if it's not you specifically, but the group of people like you, play and talk about video games. So there's no logical reason why a piece of gaming content on my channel wouldn't still reach my audience of 30,000, because even though they're not used to me talking about games, guaranteed at least 50% of that audience gives a shit about video games. So why would nobody see it? Well, because YouTube has determined that showing my audience that video is not going to make them money. Period. They want me, and I'll tell you what YouTube would like me to keep making is videos about Myers-Briggs INFPs, because I blew up talking about that shit, which was not my intent. I was just like, let's talk a little bit about Myers-Briggs and let's use it as a gateway drug. And I'll talk about business and relationships and stuff people are into. And I'll use it as a gateway drug to start talking about better psychology, more effective tests, and things you need to know beyond Myers-Briggs, right? But beyond this cult-like, I'm a freaking Sagittarius. Who should I marry? Like, you shouldn't be married if that's the question you're asking. That's why there's so much divorce, because people are stupid, right? So, um, anyway, it's very clear. I'm saying I'm giving you all this backstory to help you understand that it's very clear that me doing Collector versus Wild on this channel, despite how much of the type of person I am to give a middle finger to the system and how YouTube wants it to run, I'm inclined to say fuck YouTube. I'm gonna make what I want, and if people find it and they watch it, cool. I'm making it for fun anyway. If they don't find it and watch it, also cool, because whatever. But I know for a fact, and here's where I need you guys to chime in with your thoughts here. I know for a fact that if I started another YouTube channel specifically for the gaming stuff, I could grow it marginally. Now, I'm not worried about growth, but what I'm saying is I could at least give my videos a fighting chance to let people who actually do want to see me collecting things, because if YouTube needs any proof that people give a shit about me specifically talking about collecting video games, just take a walk over to my TikTok page, right, and realize that I've garnered, I think at this point, just short of 1 million views for my gaming videos there. So let's just like, I'm in the hundreds of thousands range with videos about me talking about collecting video games. So there are clearly people on the internet that are interested in me talking about that shit. And by the way, these are people in many cases who have never heard of me before. But collecting video games is interesting to people who collect video games and like to play them. Right, so it's very clear that my last Collector vs. Wild show should have had more than 135 views. But what I think is happening, and what I can't prove, but I dare someone at YouTube to tell me I'm wrong, is they saw me post that video, they looked at all the data related to the video, and they're like, yeah, we can't do anything with this on this guy's channel because he needs to be making INFP shit. Like, we pigeonholed him into bullshit psychology vertical. He didn't want to stay there, so fuck him. Basically is how YouTube's playing the game. Right? Now, I'm oversimplifying that because there are things I could do to make it better, blah, 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 but it would be marginally better. I know if I created a separate channel, because I've actually done this before, this isn't my first rodeo, there would be a fighting chance for the people interested in that content to see it. And these live streams would also reach more people, because it wouldn't be getting actively suppressed on a channel where YouTube wants me to go in a different direction. And I just don't think it makes sense if I'm going to even produce this content long term. Here's where the dilemma comes from. It doesn't make sense to put it, like, if I'm committed to making this show as a hobby or whatever, it doesn't make sense to put it in a place where it's just going to die. Like, if I'm going to make it, even if it's just for fun, I should give it a chance for people to enjoy it. And so making another channel, but the dilemma is I don't want to manage multiple channels because I don't, like, I realize in my life I am part artist but part entrepreneur, and I think in my earlier days I used to assess that I was way more artist than entrepreneur, but as I get older I'm really, and get more and more self-awareness. Like, I just went through some coaching earlier this week with a coach that I coached. She was coaching me, and I went through some pretty interesting stuff in the test that she gave me and the results. And what was really interesting about it was the more I started to think about that dichotomy of artist entrepreneur, it's not really a dichotomy, but the distinct difference between those two personalities, even though you can have both, I was like, I think I'm actually, like, I used to always say I'm an artist who became an entrepreneur because I had to, because I didn't want to be a starving artist. But the more I look at it, and I even started thinking back to things I did in my childhood, like negotiating at 7 years old for one of my dad's friends to give me money, and I was convincing enough to get the guy to give me the damn money. Like, a lot of the things that I've done and the level of, or the lack of patience I have with certain things, I honestly think I'm probably about 80% entrepreneur, and I became an artist to survive the world because entrepreneurs don't think like most people, so you're immediately a black sheep and you're immediately ostracized. And I think I became the artist to try to bridge the gap between regular people and my crazy ass. And so I think the artist was the survival mechanism, not the entrepreneur. Because I'm just noticing that when I take on some of these fun projects or whatever, my level of dedication to it, it's like, you know, if like I tell people I stream Thursdays at 8:30 or whatever, I don't always make it, and I'm not really that pressed to be there. It's like I enjoy it when I'm there. I enjoy you guys. I'm glad that you come, but when I miss a night, it's not like my world comes crashing down. Like, oh my god, and I don't know if I'd be committed to Collector versus Wild the way I would need to even justify caring to put it on a separate channel. Like, because I don't know if I'll stick with it. Like, I'm enjoying it for now. I'll tell you, the production of the videos, I've got to find another way to do that. Because I don't do well with scripts. Unless it's like an acting situation where I have to memorize the script and then act. That I can do. But, like, reading scripts for videos, that it's like, in short blurbs, it's good. But when I have to read something as long as, like, Collector versus Wild is like a 3,000 word essay by the time it's all finished and I have to read through it. And so I got to find a format. Like, live would totally work better for me, but live would get exponentially harder to show gameplay, right? So it's like I don't want to lose showing the gameplay. That's part of the show. So I've got all these things going on in my head, and then it's so that's the YouTube side, and it's, I guess the question to you guys is, if I took these streams and I put them somewhere else, would you still come around? Right? Or should I continue to give the system the middle finger, even though something I'm creating could reach more people that I think would enjoy it and benefit from it, if I was willing to just do a little extra production or whatever, which is really just the difference of uploading it in a separate place. It's not really any work. I don't know. That's the best I can explain it in my brain right now. You know, so I don't know. I'm not really super excited about the idea. Oh, dude, shut up. Nobody cares. I'm not really fired up about having a second channel. But even my wife, when I talked to Miko about it, she was just like, dude, Collector versus Wild deserves its own show. I said, oh, I agree. I said, I was telling her, I guess my beef with YouTube is, why are you making people's channels what you judge instead of their individual videos? So like when I talked to TikTok, when they brought me on to be a creator that they pay, right? And when I talked to them, I said, listen, this isn't going to work if you guys pigeonhole me the way YouTube does. Like, I'll make videos or whatever, but don't make me one of your poster kids. If you judge my channel based on, you want me to be this guy that only talks about this thing, and every time I produce something else I'm going to get hammered, I'm going to get really bored really fast, because I'm not a one lane narrow dude. Like, I'm into a lot of shit. So if that's your way of, you know, dealing with me, no, I don't want that. Like, if that's how you plan to deal with me, just shoot me now, because I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about video games. I'm going to talk about music. Right? I'm going to talk about art. Yes, I'm going to talk about leadership and business and life strategy, but I'm going to talk about other shit, because I'm not here to build an audience of 2 billion people that I can just sell shit to. Right? That's not my game. So I'm not here to get a giant audience overnight because I focused on one thing nonstop, and that's how I built it. And then my audience knows me for one thing. And then when I want to be a human and talk about something else, I piss off, 3 million people. Like, I'm not going to be that dude. And TikTok told me straight up on the phone, they're like, no, that's not how it works. We judge the merit of how we judge your shit is video by video. If you upload a dope gaming video, we're going to promote that shit. You upload a dope dancing video, we'll promote. If you upload a dope psychology video, it doesn't matter. We care about the videos. I'm like, thank God. Right, so TikTok gets that. YouTube just married themselves to a pigeonhole platform because I think they were trying to figure out how to maximize ad revenue, which they should have known back in 2014 that they needed to, and they knew that. They wrote it in the financial reporting that they needed to diversify what they were doing. But instead of diversifying, which I can't really fault them. It's like, go get Conan, go get Fallon, go get the NFL. they probably paid them and said, listen, start producing content at scale for this platform that's going to attract old people. Because YouTube is kids, man. And I know YouTube wasn't making no money off these kids. It's like maybe their parents, maybe some of these Lego unboxing people. But, you know, most gaming creators weren't making any loot selling t-shirts to their 8-year-old fan base. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's not going to work. So that's the thing. Like, I would like the me in me just wants to give the system the middle finger and keep driving ahead. But I just know in this situation, my normal fuck you attitude, it's really only going to cause me frustration and cause people that would otherwise have found me not to. So maybe this is one of those times where I be more diplomatic and just say the way you're doing it's hard-headed and you're being an asshole because you feel like YouTube is doing it wrong, but it's not going to benefit. Like, being the asshole in this case isn't actually going to benefit you. So anyway, that's kind of where my head's at. I guess I could get into some of the TikTok and other YouTube stuff too, but I don't know. That's the best I can articulate it in this exact moment. Typical Iowan says, I don't have any solid yes-no input, but I believe that live streams aren't pushed to general audiences, only people who actively follow a channel. Yes, that used to not be true. It's mostly true now. It's still, like, a live stream can still hit somebody if it's relevant to their shit. Because I've had people come here because I was streaming Death Stranding, and YouTube knew they were interested in that. So, yes, for the most part. But my point is, there's 30,000 of these mofos, and only 100 of them have been on the stream tonight. You feel me? Like, yeah, they're not pushing it to the general audience, but there's 30,000 mofos that could be watching right now that I know YouTube's not showing it to. Because they know that audience, they'll make more money sending them somewhere else. Ray says, honestly, I think YouTube is dying because of the other streaming platforms. I don't know if I'm talking on behalf of anyone, but I'm only on platforms that you're on. I don't care for YouTube. Yeah, I got you, man. YouTube's not necessarily dying. It's just going through a metamorphosis to become something else, and it's killing its babies to do it. And I didn't say it in those exact words back in 2014, but that's essentially what I was trying to warn creators about, was YouTube is going to sacrifice you to attract the types of players. Meaning, here's what I mean by sacrifice. They're going to let PewDiePie and, you know, the big channels like PewDiePie and even some of the more, you know, smaller but still relatively big channels, like, let's say like a beauty channel that has like 100,000 subscribers or something, right? They're going to let those people bring billions or 1 billion, 2 billion to this platform, and then they're going to take those 2 billion people's attention and point it elsewhere, away from the people that brought them here, so that they can start to attract the NFL, start to attract Conan O'Brien, start to get into contracts with these, you know, movie makers like Adam Sandler to release his next thing here instead of Netflix. Right? So they can say, hey, we built an audience of 2 billion people, bring your Netflix shit here and start watching Netflix on YouTube, right? And then eventually what the independent creator becomes is just kind of like the extra credit content that's kind of here if you want it. And then YouTube also has a farm of talent that they can pull from when studios want to start making films here, right? That's how I see it playing out. And so if you're a creator, it's like, that's fine, but what do you do when the attention starts to dry up? Yeah, and make no mistake, Ray, I'm not a huge fan of the way YouTube does business. I truly wish there was an 18 and older video platform that wasn't porn. Like, 18 and over, but not porn. Because otherwise, I'd just, like, for real, I'd just start throwing up videos on, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just start doing videos on Pornhub. I need to get a membership. I need to tell my wife first before I do that. Like, hey, there's gonna be a Pornhub thing, but it's fine. I know I'm not making porns. I'm making real good stuff, and it's gonna interrupt people's porn and ruin what they're up to. But yeah, maybe I should just start making videos on Pornhub. Maybe I should just start making porn. I'd be good at it. Maybe not as the actor, but as a writer, like a producer and writer for porn, I'd be amazing because my imagination is off the charts insane. I would literally make the best pornos. Like everybody would watch them. Children, mothers, like that guy's porn is amazing. Like it'd be that's what people would watch on Christmas Eve. Like let's watch Bryant's new porn. It's amazing. Just get the kids around the campfire. Like that's I just know I would be good at that shit. Anyway, um, yeah. Now I'm lost my train of thought because I'm retarded. So there you go. Let's start reading some of y'all's comments here. Yeah, this stream's not gonna have much gaming because I'm gonna need to talk to you guys. So if you're here to watch me play, good luck. I also don't plan to keep you guys terribly late tonight. Don't have any solid yes or no input, but okay, I read that one. Thank you. Thank you, Typical Iron One. That was great. Ray says, honestly, I think YouTube is dying. I read that one. That's good. Ray also says, I'm here because I'm enjoying your vibes and the knowledge you drop. And since you've been complaining about TikTok Live and YouTube algorithms, why don't you make your own platform that fixes all that? Because I don't have the skills. I built a social media platform back in the day, and I don't have the energy to even own the company. Like, if somebody's building a social media platform that I think is awesome and they want me to partner with them and bring something to the table as a partner, I'd do that, but I would not spearhead launching a social media platform. I've tried it. Shit's hard. It's not fun. I don't want that kind of headache. I also tried it back before all this social media shit was actually dope. So, I was early in the game of social media. But yeah, so I don't necessarily mind, and I hear you say complaining. I don't necessarily aim to complain. I just aim to point out and give people justification for why I do things. Like I respect that TikTok's live platform is what it is. It doesn't objectively suck. It sucks for what I'm trying to do. It's great for, cute kids that want to dance around and have like, hi, you're cute. Yeah, me too. Like that type of shit's cool. If that's what people are enjoying, get in there. YouTube's algorithm, I honestly don't necessarily have a problem with the algorithm per se, because most people's problems never are the algorithm. The problem is you don't make dope enough content for people to, for YouTube to want to promote it. So I accept that some of my issue is just I'm making videos that other people make better. So I know that what I'm creating with Collector versus Wild today is not really competitive. Like I'm not expecting a million people to watch that show. I am expecting maybe a few more than 135 though. You know what I mean? So it's not just the algorithm that is I'm pointing to, because I know how to game the algorithm. What I'm trying, I guess, to figure out is I don't want to game the algorithm. And if there were, like, my best case scenario is I just keep everything here and I just put my head down and keep making whatever the hell I want. I just know the way the platform looks at channels, YouTube is not going to favor that, and they're going to actively keep me from being, from reaching the potential that I would have the potential to reach. So now that I've done this long enough to prove that, because I didn't want to say that, like, officially before I had spent some months or maybe a year testing content, and now I've done that. I've spent a year testing content, and it's like, all right, there should at least be some evergreen attraction to this video that's more than 0 views, right? So that was kind of that last video was kind of like, all right, I get it. And I have one more that I'm producing, but part of me is like, well, if I'm going to make this other channel, I'll just put it there. But that would mean that I'd have to do live streams in 2 different places too. Like when I mostly do these gaming streams, so that would be on the other channel. I wouldn't be getting rid of this channel because this is still where the videos for my podcast live and stuff like that. It's just this channel I don't do as much for. But I don't know. I'll keep reading y'all's comments and coming up with ideas. I appreciate you guys taking so much time to respond to me. This is good. Shannon says, I agree. People will follow, says Ray. Rydera says, I find it hard to believe that more people watch Conan and Fallon than YouTubers in 2020. So, yeah, no, and that's why I'm saying I misspoke. No, I don't think in a lot of cases a Conan is getting more views. And now he is now because Conan's huge on YouTube. But it's not so much about the views. It's the quality of views that Conan is getting versus, say, independent. Meaning, the person watching Conan O'Brien, there's a good chance that person's over 30 years old, which means, save for that person being in some dire straits in their life, they have access to some spending money. That's not $0. They may not be rich, but they're probably not completely destitute. And if YouTube wants to make money, it's got to get eyeballs on. It's got to get eyeballs that are willing to buy shit on the platform. I would imagine Conan attracts that better than a PewDiePie, because PewDiePie attracts mostly kids. And while kids can go, "Hey ma, I want to get the new laser tag," or whatever, um, the bulk of that audience aren't there to purchase things, right? Especially when, a huge percentage of them are under 18 or under 25 years old. Right, so that's more what I'm getting at. I don't think it's necessarily that, Conan is killing Philip DeFranco. I just mean, I think the way YouTube sees it is it's not volume of views that matters. It's views that convert into advertising dollars that matter. And that's why I said they started pigeonholing channels, because it's way easier to go to McDonald's and say, "Hey, you should run your ads on so and so's channel because here's their demographics, here's their psychographics, here's how old the people are. They're in the sweet spot for what you want to sell, McDonald's." And then McDonald's can run, like, if YouTube streamlines channels, they can make it predictive, and then they can be predictive about how much ad revenue they're going to bring in. So from a math perspective, I get why they did it. From a user experience perspective, I think it was absolutely the wrong move. But if it's what they had to do to keep YouTube's doors open, I don't know what their financials are today, because I haven't looked at a report since that video back in 2014. But yeah, I know YouTube eventually did become profitable, but probably because of these decisions they're making that everybody hates. That's how they're staying alive. All right, let's see. Ray says, "What did you say on your podcast? Learn the nature law and work your way around it." That should apply here too, brother. Possibly, Ray. And then, so the loophole would be creating the other channel. The reason why it's a dilemma for me is I don't know if I feel like doing it. And the reason why I want to bring you guys into the conversation is because if you guys are adamant, yes, we would watch a video game collecting show of you documenting you collecting every video game ever in history, because that's the goal. Is at the end of this, I plan to own every video game. Now, that'll take me probably a lifetime to do, just because a lot of video games are hard to find. I can figure out the finances, because most video games aren't more than $100. A lot of them are $1. Like a lot of the games I bought on the TikTok show tonight were $1.99 or like $2.99. So I can buy, 100 games for $200 at that rate. But then there are games that, like, one of my most sought after video game right now is a game called Musha, Metallic Uniframe something armor. It's a spaceship shooter game where basically Earth gets invaded by aliens, and you are the lone spaceship that's killing the aliens. And it's the best game in that genre I've ever played, and it's amazing. I don't own it. I have played it, and it's like $600. But to me, it's worth $600. It's that damn good. It's just finding it, and I don't like going to eBay. Like, I don't like collecting. The fun of collecting is going to the store and finding the thing, or finding a guy on Facebook and going to his house and going through, or when you guys saw me collect, if you saw me collect the Magnavox Odyssey 2, and like 30 games for it, complete in the box at an estate sale where when you first walk in, it's like, clearly they're not selling video games here. But I asked the guy, "Hey, you got any games or electronics?" He's like, "Yeah, back in one of the rooms over here. I didn't think anybody wanted that stuff." And I'm like, I saw the games. I was like, "Yo, do you have the machine that goes with this?" He's like, "I don't think so, but you could take the games." I was like, "Great." And then he comes out of the back, "Hey, I did have the machine, and it's here complete in the box." Like, what? Yes! Like, to me, like, if you're into watching something like that, I'd be willing to consider continuing to produce it. But again, I'm also not sure that I want to continue producing the show. Like I said, I'm like 20% artist. I get bored and exhausted when I have to create shit that has a lot of friction. It's like, I'll just hire a person to do this. I don't want to do it. I'm out. All right. So anyway, What else are people talking about? Clem says, I missed the start, so I don't know what's going on, but you sound annoyed with YouTube. And I would agree, Collector versus Wild deserves its own channel. Not annoyed. Not annoyed. I guess if there's any annoyance, it's just any annoyance that I have is with the idea that this shit shouldn't be this complicated. It's like, if I'm making something people want, give it to them. Like, don't make me jump through all these goddamn hoops because of your weird, advertising system. You bastards. And that's about as far as any annoyance I have goes. I really am not particularly emotional about it, to be honest with you. I would, though, like a platform that's for people that are over 18. I would be, like, if there was a platform for people that were over 18 and, like, the people I'm trying to reach are there and I'm actually helping them, I'd just take all my stuff and go there. Because then I don't have to worry about the kid bullshit. I don't have to worry about saying something that's offensive. Like, just can we be adults? And if you're offended, go for a walk. And understand nobody on earth gives a fuck about you or how offended you are. Like, that's what your being offended means. Nothing. To anybody but you. So, yeah. Have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up. Anywho, Typical Iowan says, like I said, I now have serious issues with YouTube after they started putting ads on videos made by channels that are not monetized. So YouTube is getting paid. So I can explain, like, have your issues 100%, but I'll tell you why that's happening. The creator who hasn't monetized the channel uploaded some shit that is owned by somebody else, and they just got content claimed. And that's something that all creators need to be aware of. Don't use other people's shit because they can monetize your videos. And so it's not just YouTube that's getting paid. It's the person who made the thing that other creator is using. So it's them and the other artist that's getting paid. But mostly Google. You're correct. Harlequin says, I watched one video on WWE 2 days ago and I'm getting a ton of Yeah, I know, man. That's how it works. Let's see. Sometimes I click on a video by mistake because my phone is sensitive. Yeah. Alright. Racist Pornhub, let's go. I wonder if they would let me just start making, like, personal development videos on Pornhub. I would do that just because I think it's hilarious. That's the Pornhub coach. Could you imagine that? It's the Pornhub coach, y'all. Talk to him. Shannon says she will beat you. Not if I tell her ahead of time. In fact, I think I already had a conversation with her about maybe producing content for Pornhub. What was my porn name? I've had a couple. My first porn name was Captain Longstroke. It kind of, because it goes with, like, I had a Canon. It was all a stripper thing I had set up in case Miko ever left me. And then my more recent porn name was Uncle Gargamel. It's just like I would shave a cul-de-sac into my hair and just be disheveled and not trim my beard and be ugly. It'd just be the most horrible person you ever had to have sex with, but psychologically everyone would love watching it because they're psychologically troubled. And they like the taboo idea of somebody getting taken advantage of. Whether they'll admit that or not. Just read my text. Pocket thoughts. Oh, God. Oh. You guys are becoming, like, either I'm becoming too much like all of you or you're becoming too much like me or both. Typical Iowa says, Pornhub is amazing. They censor nothing, so I've straight up watched Pacific Rim on Pornhub. I need to go there, man. I'm missing out. That's hilarious. Oh, Pacific Rim on Pornhub. That's amazing. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the answer. What's funny is if I started doing that, I'd be famous overnight. It's the Pornhub guy. Does he have sex? No. But he's interesting. He's not boring. He looks Latino. I wonder if he is. Let's see. Typical Iowan says, oh no, he says Pornhub is amazing. Clem says, I feel you. I feel like you would be a hairy man. Hairs and all the. Maybe I'd do that too. Just grow a fro all over my body and just be horrible. That's pretty much the game there, brother. Sup, y'all? What up, Super? See, I feel like I have to rewind the stream, but I don't want to miss out. Don't worry. The bottom line is, Clem, I'm in a position where it's very clear that a specific type of content, namely these streams and anything I produce that's gaming related, is actively suppressed, right? And I get that the content's very mediocre, so it's not going to get a ton of views anyway. But the numbers that it's getting are clearly artificial. So and this isn't just because of the gaming content. I've known for about 2 years that what I wanted to do on YouTube didn't jive, because this, you got to remember, I've done this YouTube thing twice, right? Like, I've blown up 2 YouTube channels, and the same things happened both times, where I blew up the first channel and I blew up for something that I don't typically do, but then everybody wanted me to keep doing it, and then YouTube wanted me to keep doing it, and it's like, but that's not what I do. So now you're screwing me because I won't produce the thing that gets you more eyeballs but doesn't work for me. Which is hilarious, because one of the first things they teach you when you get certified is make sure the content you're making works for you. It's like, well, bitch, if you're going to pigeonhole me into goddamn horoscope Myers-Briggs bullshit, then that isn't working for me. Right? So that's just a little funny little nugget for you. But that's it. Like, it's, in order for Collector versus Wild to actually work, it just needs, like, no bullshit. One of the other options I've actually considered doing is just fuck YouTube altogether, and not because I'm not bitter, I'm not upset. It's just, why not put it somewhere where people who actually want to watch it can get to it and will watch it. Like, one of the ideas, and this is no bullshit, I very much have considered leaving YouTube. Because I don't care, like, I don't need AdSense money. I don't need their little bullshit, whatever they pay you for making videos. Like, we got that part figured out. I'm making videos because other people might potentially benefit from them. That is the only reason I still turn cameras on, is because some other human may get a benefit from something I have to say. And if they do, I win. That's it. That's all I'm playing the game for. But for real, one of the things I've supremely considered, and I have already set up the account, I did that last year at some point, is just taking all my shit to Amazon and saying, F it. I don't, like, I almost would rather be in a place where people have to pay to see me, because then I know the people that are there to consume what I'm making. Does that make sense? Like, in other words, you wouldn't have to pay to watch my show, but you would have to pay to have access to Amazon Prime to get access to my show. Like, in other words, you're not handing money to me to watch my show. You're handing money to Amazon to get a dope platform that I think kills all the rest of them. I think Amazon Prime is the best out of all of them for me. And so, like, you get Amazon Prime, and then you also get access to my show. Like, I have literally considered, why don't I just take all of my shows, everything that I do, and make, like, courses and just put them on Amazon. And then that's all. And then I'll have to keep making content. The people who want to consume information about understanding personality psychology so that they can have more self-awareness and be more successful in their lives will watch this video. And Amazon will be very good at serving traffic to that video for the people. Like, it's not a mystery that Napoleon Hill comes up in my Amazon feed, because Amazon has me figured out. Like, he reads a lot of books about, not being an idiot. He's probably going to like this guy. Right, so I've actually, one of the options I'm considering, I haven't given up on it, is because, like, me and my team are planning a documentary for Collector vs. Wild where we travel around the world, and there's going to be seasons where, not really a documentary, more like a quasi-reality show where we travel around the world collecting video games. And it's like, I would never bring that shit to YouTube so that 8 people can watch the motherfucker. No way. I'll give that to Amazon. Like, if 8 people are gonna watch it, I'll give it to Amazon. And then at least the 8 people that watched it wanted to see it, not, maybe saw it because of blah blah blah. Like I wouldn't even give that to YouTube. I'd take it to Netflix or Amazon. You know, and then just have people watch it there. Like that is actually how I would prefer to produce content, is off of the free platforms, because on the free platforms you can't filter for age, you can't filter for stupidity. Like on a paid platform, I at least know you had to spend money to be here, so you're potentially, not always, but you're potentially slightly better to get along with than some of the people on that other platform. But I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, man. You guys tell me what you think. Humble says, "What up, B? Saw the headline. You okay?" Man, I am fantastic. Just get you guys to help me out with some decision making. That's all. And I may have titled the video "Help Me" because I knew that would get attention. Some people call that clickbait. I don't have any moral issue with clickbait as long as you're not clickbaiting people into shit they don't want to consume. But I know you guys want to be here to help me, so here you are. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Boom Create TV says, "I'd separate that the artist side always needs a little experimentation and a chance to stretch. So have a main vision and then little side things that can grow organically if they will." Yeah, that's a good point, because I'm not even looking to grow it. I just don't want it to be suppressed. All I want Collector vs. Wild to do is just have the opportunity to reach the people I know it can reach. And if that's 135 people, I'll own that. But here's how I know it's not 135 people. Because near 1 million are watching the same shit over on my TikTok stream. Like, clearly there's people who want to watch this shit. They're just not on YouTube. They're on TikTok. So that's another thing. One of the things I considered was just, when it comes just to the gaming, forget about my personal professional development shit. When it comes just to the gaming, I thought maybe I just make these little 1-minute videos on TikTok, and that is my collector show. I don't like 1-minute videos. I feel like it forces me to be more succinct. Like I like things that are succinct, but sometimes 1 minute's not quite enough. But I don't know. Maybe I just do the Collector vs. Wild shit there and don't even worry about YouTube. I don't know. Figure it out. Boo! Right there, it says possible titles on Pornhub: Man Rails, Insecurity. That's funny. Start coaching on OnlyFans. Can you do that? I thought is OnlyFans not, like, I don't really know a lot about it, but the only time I hear people talking about it, it sounds seedy. And I may or may not know people personally who do cam shows, so there's that. Listen, man, I coached entertainers for a long time. All kinds of entertainers. Even maybe some of the ones that the world frowns on. Because I am not here to judge another human soul. Now then, OnlyFans coaching, that'd be hilarious. Then B can bat his eyes and shake his ass. Oh, I'd shake my ass all night. Maybe I should just start making porn. I think the solution to all this is I just get into the porn industry and start cranking out the illest pornos ever in the history. Like, porn becomes this celebrated thing that everyone finally, like, it's awesome. The women feel empowered, like, we love being here, and the men are like, yes. I also had an idea for starting a brothel in Las Vegas where my attraction to all of the whores was no bullshit. I actually had this discussion with one of my friend's dates because she was an accountant. She was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting." And I said, "Listen, here's how we do it. We run the whorehouse, but the way we attract the top tier whores is we offer student loan payoff. So or like a student program where we will send you to college. You're basically gonna hoe your way through college, and then you're done. Stop hoeing, go live your life." Like, because if you're going to hoe anyway, you might as well get a benefit to it, right? Like, people are going to hoe whether we like it or not. Like, if I could create a perfect world, there'd be no hoeing. But people are hoeing all the time for way less money than a college degree. So it's like, build a brothel, take care of these people, men and women, but get them through college or some type of trade school so we can get them out in the world doing something besides banging. It had good intentions. I think the idea needed a little more love. Shannon says, "I can't with you tonight. You are nuts." Yes, yes, and that's why you are here because you like crazy people. Oh man. Only problem I see is that nothing is discoverable on Prime. You'd still need to move attention. But see, I'm okay with that because things are discoverable on Prime. That's the misconception, right? The difference is there's no For You page, right? There's no YouTube login screen that's telling me what to watch. Prime is for users who are actively engaged in what they want to watch, which is way better for me because I don't produce content for people that just want to zone out. Maybe this gaming shit, but even this we get deep in our conversations here, right? Like, I prefer not having a for like I forgot I wanted to send this to my TikTok manager and say, hey, can you make my account so that either I don't have a For You page or it starts on the following page? Because seriously, I'm not watching any of this shit that you guys keep feeding me. I'm only switching over and watching a couple of my friends, and I'm off the platform. Literally, the only videos I think I watch at this point are the ones you guys send me, and I don't even watch half of those because I got shit going on. So it's like, like Prime not having a just like a here's the things you might be interested in page, which technically it has that too. So things are discoverable, but I would prefer to be in a place where people are actively searching for the thing that I happen to be creating. Because that's an engaged audience, not an audience that's bored out of their fucking mind and just looking to, like do one of my most hated words on the world in the world is killing time. Oh, that phrase just destroys my soul. Like, I'm not here for people that are killing time. I'm just not. Like, and if you're here killing time, enjoy yourself. I'm not against you. I'm just not producing content for you intentionally. Like, I'm producing content for people who want to talk and engage and make something happen. You know what I mean? People of action, if you will. I think OnlyFans is for you to do what you please. Sweet. So yeah, like that's one of my options is just dropping a nuke on all this social media shit and just taking all of my stuff to Prime. Like, and that's the thing, going back to what Candace said, like, I don't need tons of people to be interested in my shit. That's the cool part about my content. I only need the people who are actually going to do something about my content and do something with it to listen. If that means I go from having, 1 million followers to having 10,000, but it's 10,000 people who are kicking ass, I'll take the 10,000. Straight up. Because I'm just not interested in producing, like, mass appeal. I'm not interested in being Gangnam Style. That gives me no pleasure. Of course I can get eyeballs on me if I entertain people, but I want to say some shit that hits you. You know what I mean? And, like, I used to get made fun of for that when I was a musician. Like, it was a woman one time, she's like, why are you so obsessed with music that has something to say? Like, don't you just enjoy the music? I said, well, of course I enjoy the music, but why can't I have the best of both worlds? The way I feel is if an artist is going to bother to open his or her mouth, have something to fucking say. Otherwise, shut your goddamn mouth and just let me hear the music. And if you notice, I'm like that with video games too. When they start jabberjawing, like, shut the fuck up. None of you are interesting. Just give me the money and tell me where the dragon is and give me the gun so I can shoot the dragon in the ass and we can all go home. I don't want to listen to these people talk. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about content too. But I don't know. We're just, it's all, no, there's no bad ideas in brainstorming. Keep it coming. Keep shooting stuff at me, guys. I appreciate it. This is very helpful for me to get my thoughts out. Because, like I said in the beginning, I'm not even sure where I'm at with this. I need your help because I'm trying to figure out what I even think about this scenario. So you guys are becoming my verbal sparring partners to help me work through it. Let's see. Clem says, hey, take it easy, T.I. Enjoy yourself, man. Clem says, okay, I listened to what I thought was crucial to know. Hope you know whatever you decide to do, I will be there. I'm I'm the fungus that's not going away, so better appreciate you being fungus, brother. And Clem has a Prime account too. All right, so I got my first Prime fan. My first Prime viewer. You guys know I hate the word fan. Let's see. Oh, you guys can cuss now because Sub is here. He can unlock all of your cussing. Like if I usually when I tell you guys not to cuss, it's when one of my moderators isn't here. Because like if I'm playing, I can't do both. But if Sub is here, he can. If he feels like it, he can unblock your comments that keep getting filtered. I remember a few years ago, ACOM got in trouble for teaching hookers how to do tax claims on their hooking. Why would he get in trouble for that? That's genius. Maybe I should start hooking. But I'd be like a time hooker. I mean, obviously I can't give my body away. That belongs to someone else. But I could hook time. Like go spend time with a lady that's just lonely. Like let's go have dinner and just talk, and I get paid. Is that legal? Or guys, I hang out with gay dudes too. I don't care. I mean, we're not banging. Let's hang. I can do some gay shit. What do gays get into? Any gays here? Talk to me. The crazy matches my crazy. Like attracts like. Boom says, on a serious note, not making porn, but watching how they operate. Those people are oh, dude. Porn makers are the best. Like, they have the best psychological... From the porn that I've seen in my life, and especially the older shit like what I've seen. Because some of this newer shit y'all are into is just brutality. Like, they got dudes eating bags of shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening out here? But like the old school shit with the music and the scenes and the acting that was terrible, that shit was psychologically engineered to make you feel like you were in another world. And pay very specific attention to the music they use. Woo! It hits that lower register quite often, which puts you in an animalistic state. But, you know, I think, doesn't most of the modern stuff not have music? I don't know. I think, like, any modern stuff I've ever seen, I haven't. It's funny, too, because, speaking of porn, my wife watches these Korean, like, sitcoms or drama shows, and it always sounds like I don't know Korean, but when they're excited, it sounds like they're having sex. So every time I come in, they're like, baby, you watching Pornhub? What's happening? Like, no, this is the Koreans. I'm like, they are a sexual bunch, that is for sure. At least when they talk, it sounds sexual. Anyway. There's lots of open source platforms that have the warning of adult content built in. I'm working something for you. Hey, okay, I like that, Shannon. Good stuff. It's just Sync Screwing Studios presents Just Get It Over With. Starring Uncle Gargamel and Captain Longstroke, who may be the same guy with schizophrenia. I actually asked one of my therapists when I was going through my intense treatment ways back. I was like, is it possible that I have schizophrenia? She always laughed at me when I would ask, am I autistic? Am I schizophrenic? Like, no, you dummy. You're just dumb and weird. Like, you're fine. Go sit down. No, Clem, you don't need to tone it down. You're never going to best me at being inappropriate, so don't worry about it. I mean, you know, within reason. Regarding Prime, I think so few people search for what you were talking about there. Yes, that's the point. You're making my point for me. They use it more like Netflix. So you'd have to have a way. No. So think about it. When you go to Netflix, do you just let it serve stuff to you, or do you know what you want to watch, right? And so you go looking for the thing that you want to watch. And let's say you know you want to watch a comedy, but now you don't know which one. And so, – when you search comedy, Netflix is going to serve you a bunch of comedies that you can choose from. If you searched gaming or game collect, like I've done this, I've watched almost like a lot of the gaming content on Amazon Prime. Some of it's really good. Like Pat Contry's The Gaming Years was great. You know, because it had a bunch of characters that the very few people I watch on YouTube were there because it's the old fuckers. It's, you know, people like me. Um, but like I guess what I'm saying is yes, boom, you're correct. I would get way less views because the person who's going to be looking for the thing I make is got to be looking specifically for, let's say, it's personal development or sales training or. But if you went on Prime and searched, let's say, you know, military entrepreneurs, and I had my soldierpreneur kit in there, that's going to come up. Like right now, if you type in gaming or video games, some Metal Jesus stuff will come up, some Game Sack, like all these old heads that, you know, I kind of came up watching, you know, guys that are older than me, but not terribly older than me. Maybe, you know, anywhere from, I'd guess, 5 to 10 years. I don't know exactly how old all of them are, but they're the old heads of gaming, and they're there. And so, like, I almost want to produce content for people like me who I know are searching Amazon Prime looking for shit that, you know, they would enjoy. Um, like on YouTube, I don't know that I really like. I just search shit I know is already there that I want to watch. Like if I want to watch Joe Rogan or Metal Jesus or something like that, right? But you know, my point is when I go to Prime, I'm in a much different headspace. I am deliberately wanting to watch something, meaning I'm going to be crazily engaged, right? So yes, I would get less traffic, but it wouldn't be zero. I'd still like there is still a search feature, and people like me, you know, busy entrepreneur, busy whatevers, um, do still use platforms like that and search for shit they're into. But I'd get way less people. But my estimation is I'd get way more people like us versus the kind of passerby casual viewer who just likes to look at a thing and move on with their life. Like the stuff that I'm producing, I want to have sticking power. You know what I mean? Like even the gaming content, I want it to have, like I want to bring a sense, kind of Nintendo's philosophy, where it's like when you watch my gaming shit, I want you to feel younger than you are. I want to take you back, right? I want to take you back to that place when you were a kid and you played that game, right? And it's like, yeah, that's kind of like there's people who definitely search for that because I do. Like I know I search for that shit. Are there a lot of me's? Nope, but that's okay. I don't need a lot of me's to watch it. I just need me's to watch it. Anyway, so boom, I'm saying all that to say yes, I agree. What you're saying is accurate. I just don't know that it's bad. Like it might be. I've thought it might be exactly what I was looking for. All right. I don't watch much on Prime, but if you move there, I'd still check you out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and the only thing that would move to Prime is the stuff that I record. Obviously, I can't do live streams there, right? Like, I would have to still do my live streams on YouTube or TikTok or Twitch. That's another thing, too. It's like, does it make sense just to go back to Twitch? Just for the gaming shit, but then I can't do the Collector versus Wild show on Twitch because eventually it goes away, and nobody's gonna like. If you talk about a platform where nobody searches or finds anything, Twitch is where you go to die. Like some of the people I've coached, are entertainers, they're gamers and stuff, and I tell them don't go to Twitch first, build your audience on TikTok and then take them to Twitch. Kind of what Boom is saying about Prime. So, I mean, technically, I still have big audiences that I could push towards Prime, so I would have that covered anyway. Let's see. Oh, you said Acorn. Are you talking about the app, the investment app? I thought you said it looked like Acom on my screen, which I thought was the Akon rather, which I thought was the rapper. I was like, Akon, the rapper's going around teaching hookers how to do their taxes? It's way funnier. Acorn, I'm familiar with Acorn though. Years ago, I heard that most prostitution is people just wanting someone to talk to, and they don't actually have sex. Huh. That wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. Caitlin Ruffin says, I'm gay. We're mostly on Discord. Got it. I can dig it. Thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate that. And good to see you again. It's been a while. Boom says, never watch porn, wouldn't know. Gotcha. Clem says, I'm not gay, but, well, this ought to be a good sentence. The shit that comes out of my mouth will make, yeah, well, you're former military, bro. Half the shit we do is homoerotic. So, yeah. Welcome. I think if you were ever deployed, you're kind of gay. At least a little bit. I didn't know GameSack and Metal Jesus are on Amazon. Yeah, not in droves. Like, I think GameSack only has 1 or 2 episodes there. The big creator who went to Amazon and I think is actually making a run of it is the Angry Video Game Nerd, who's also another one of the old heads. But he was he was a genius because his show is actually not. The video games are not what make his show. It's the satire. Like, he makes short comedies, and video games are just the setting. Because that show, like that playing Karate Kid and reviewing it would not work unless you turn that into a terrible satire about how shitty the game is. You wouldn't get viewers to just watch you play Karate Kid. It's boring. I learned that I did a show called, what was my retro show called? I did a whole show on retro games for a year, filmed 52 episodes, and I did one a week. Throwback Thursdays, that's what it was. It was Throwback Thursdays retro gaming. It did not do well. Let me tell you. So just playing old shit, and yeah, what I didn't know at the time was I was looking at it from my perspective, not realizing that old heads on YouTube grew up with the GameCube. I was like, oh yeah, I'm super old. Like, never mind. These kids didn't play NES. They started with the Nintendo 64. Dude, we got to talk about the freezer space thing. Okay, roger that, man. Let's see. Boom says, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's not even about viewer count. It's the fact that you'd be limiting yourself to only Prime viewers who use Prime in a certain way. Yeah, and that's you're right. And that's kind of what I'm going for, is less is more. Like, I would rather have 10,000 people who are down for the shit that I'm doing, hardcore, than have millions of followers where only a small percentage of them give a shit. Which is hard to pull off, right? Because most people aren't looking extremely deeply at things that they're not interested in. So you have to kind of, and that's what I mean, you kind of have to be interested in what I'm talking about to seek it out. And that person is exactly who I want to capture in the moment that they're seeking for. It's kind of like the genius of Google is capturing people when they're actively wanting something. I think people who really want to watch the content or actually interact with Q&A will follow only people who would be the trolls and tourists. Yeah, that's the cool part about being on paid platforms is people with money ain't got time to be hating on people unless they're dumb. Like winners don't hate on people. You ever notice that? Like real winners. You ever notice people like The Rock, you never see him shitting on anybody? You know? And somebody inevitably will find the one video from 1983 where he was like, Michael Dukakis is a piece of shit. Like, alright. Yeah, the one video where The Rock shat on somebody. That'd be a good reality show. The Rock shat on somebody. But, anyway. Boom says, oh hey, I can never find your seminar sign-up site. Oh, because I haven't finished it yet. But I appreciate you looking it up. I actually, when I made that video, I've been sidetracked for like the last 36 hours with stuff that's going on around here. So I sat down and thought to do it and then got pulled in many other directions with stuff that I have going on here at the home Stadt. So here we are. I guess you're the old shit on YouTube. But that's what I didn't realize. I was ignorant to the platform when I was in the earlier days. because I assumed there were more people like me there, even though I knew it was mostly kids. But I'm like, there's got to be some 20 somethings hanging out. Let's talk about it. Um, but what I learned very quickly is that the bulk of people like doing retro gaming on YouTube were talking about the GameCube. It's like retro, like what? And then I'd look at people like Metal Jesus, and I'm like, let's dissect how he was able to figure this out, and it was consistency. He kept showing up. I mean, he has fought hard for his, I don't know, 700,000 subscribers. Maybe he finally hit a million, but that's been a long ass fight for him because I've known about him for a long time. I didn't start watching him until like in the last couple of years. I've consumed a lot more entertainment, gaming and stuff because my therapist told me to stop working so damn hard. But um, you know, looking at a guy that just stayed consistent long enough for people to catch on, and it's like I don't want to do that. I'd be happy with just 1,000 people who dig this show and we just hang out. Like I don't need to work 7 years to. We're just doing this for fun, man. I'm not tripping. I found Classic Game Room on Amazon. I thought he quit. He did quit. The Classic Game Room you found on there is from 2 years ago. That was his last. That was Mark's last attempt at trying to make Classic Game Room work. He went to Patreon and then he started moving things to Amazon. But the speed and what Boom is talking about is very accurate because I listened to Mark talk about the problems he had with Amazon. But Mark has a problem that I don't have is I don't need the finances. He needed the finances to pay. Well, at that point, he was just paying himself. But he had. I mean, you're talking about a dude that had like when I put him in my book, I had to talk to he had attorneys, everything. I never spoke to Mark. I had to talk to his attorneys. Like they handled all that shit. So you're talking about a dude that was having to pay people legitimate salaries to run Classic Game Room. But the Amazon revenue it didn't pick up fast enough for him to sustain it. And that's unfortunate because I love Mark. I love Derek. I love the show, TJ, all the extra reviewers who were there. It's probably my favorite YouTube thing that ever happened, or at the very least my favorite gaming thing YouTube-wise, because Mark's older than me, but I'm still close enough to his age where I at least know what the hell he's talking about when he says Magnavox Odyssey. Like, I've at least heard of that, even though I wasn't on Earth when people were playing that shit. But, he talked about so much stuff that I loved and was into, and his demeanor. Like, a lot of people didn't know this. I got into doing, because I had been writing game reviews for my own website and freelancing with other, journalism places for years before I started YouTube. And Mark was the video he did for Sacred 2 on Xbox 360 was the video that got me. I was like, dude, I should do this instead of these long ass written Jones. Like, I'm better at talking anyway. And it was the review I used to decide whether or not I was going to buy the game. And I was like, I could help other people decide whether or not they want to buy games. This Mark dude is cool. That was my first video watching him, and then it was just like this love affair. And then after my dad died and I started, consuming way more entertainment because, you need that time to mourn and escape. I watched, I think, everything on his channel, including Video Game Nerd. Angry Video Game Nerd. His stuff was dope, too. Have a good one, Humble. I appreciate you being here, man. Also, the freezer thing may have just turned into flipping commercial real estate. Good. It should. Now you're thinking about how nature works and how it's tied to business, right? Nature always exists at the seams, right? Animals don't live in the deep forest. They live close to the water. Now you're looking at how all the things connect, and you're thinking about you're thinking like an entrepreneur. Good. We'll definitely talk about it, man. Let's see. Rydera says, I started with Game Boy and GameCube. Yeah. That's not surprising. You're the average age of the bulk of the YouTube audience. Alright. Boom says, I get it. I think what I'm trying to communicate is that there are a bunch of people who want your content that wouldn't be able to find it because you are limiting your platform reach. Yeah, and you are 100% correct, and I'm kind of okay with that. Like I'm kind of not 100% because philosophically I don't think Gary is wrong. I just think I enjoy doing it the other way. Like he's all about I won't create any friction for my viewers, and I'm like, oh, I'll create tons of fucking friction because I don't want everybody here. Like Gary is a much more big-hearted person than me. I think like he wants to everybody watching his shit. Like I don't. I've been down that road. Like enjoy fame, Gary. Shit ain't for me. You know, like I will become famous kicking and screaming. Like no. Like how do I get canceled this week? What offensive shit can I say that I would never mean, but it'll make a bunch of ignorant people scream at me and tell me I should never make anything again? Let's see. My first gaming console was the Sega Master System. Ooh, good one. Sega's legit. All right, I got to take a bathroom break, gang. I'll be right back. Hey, and keep your ideas coming. Keep them coming. Everybody, boom, everybody. I'm appreciating this thought exercise. I appreciate it. Keep it coming. And if Pocket had a question, Pocket, go ahead and copy and paste it because I missed it, and I apologize. wake up with a knife in my back. The stream will be witnesses if you try to kill me. I ain't going down easy. All right, let's see. So Boom says, I'm taking a user perspective to your approach. Fame isn't the point. Yeah, no, and nor do I intend to make it the point. Let's see, is helping people the point? Helping the right people is the point. Adding friction is a good idea. It makes people more dedicated. Yes. Yeah, so my point is I'm okay with losing. I want to create friction. Like, Gary wants to have no barriers to entry because he wants everybody in the world to love him. And by his own admission, that's not me making an assessment. That's just me repeating what I hear him say. He wants everybody at his funeral, and like, I don't give a shit. What I'm talking about is not so much fame. It's I purposefully build friction into some of the things I do to weed out the people who aren't going to put in the fucking work to do what's necessary to win. Because I'm here for the warrior leaders. I'm not here for people who are dabbling. I'm not here for people that talk about fucking dreams but then don't do shit about it and then turn around 20 years later and blame the goddamn system and everybody else for why they, like, I'm creating friction on purpose because the people I would want to come to my funeral are the motherfuckers who are at the top of the summit that I helped get there. Not the whole goddamn world that just used me as their personal entertainment. You know, basically their personal mental masturbation. That's who I don't want to be that guy. And that's what, and Gary has admitted that he's cool with being that guy. I'm cool if by the nature of the universe I do some things and I become that guy inadvertently. But I'm certainly not trying to fucking create it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm creating friction because I want you to have to jump through a hoop to hear some of the shit I have to say. Not because I'm entitled or anything like that, but because I know if you're not willing to jump through that hoop, you sure as fuck are not going to do anything about what I tell you. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the people on the internet right now searching how to start a business online. And they're going to get the same 13 gurus that say the same dumb shit about how easy it is to sell things on Amazon and do all this other shit, right? And they'll start it, buy somebody's course, and then never ever get through it because then they realize that they were sold bullshit. Like, I was told this Amazon selling shit would be easy. I started it, and it's fucking not. Right? Like, I want the cats, like, when they line up and I say this, get busy, they come back to me with done, right? You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not looking to be, because Gary said in one of his shows a long time ago, I don't listen to a lot of his stuff now because I'm not listening to much of anything, but he was talking about he was cool with the kid that just used Gary's fame and wealth or whatever, my own words, not Gary's, to, like, if you're vicariously living through me, I'm okay with that. I'm not. That shit makes me sick to think that you're getting false joy out of just imagining yourself as me. Like, why not let me help you become a you that you would like to be, you know, instead of living through me. Like, I'm not, so I'm totally cool with the barrier to entry, because I know if you won't jump over the hoop to join my free 30-day program that will legitimately change your fucking life, you're certainly not going to do what I'm going to tell you if I was coaching you, or, you know what I mean, or like giving you legitimate advice. Like, if you can't be bothered to take 30 seconds to give your email address to a system that's going to legitimately help you and do all 30 days and be fucking disciplined, for real, I'm not terribly interested in helping you. Like, that's me being as honest and real as I can be. If you can't, like, if your life's amazing and you don't need a 30-day turnaround program, fine. Like, if everything about your life is great and amazing, right? Like if someone offered me a 30-day change your life program, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I kind of like where I'm at. I'm growing every day and I'm building. I wouldn't necessarily need that exact program to grow. But for the people who are at a place where that's the thing they need as the spark to get to where I know their potential, or where they, will find out their potential is, if you won't jump through that one little hoop, how the fuck are you going to start a business? Right? And I get that those things aren't exactly connected, right? Like just because you won't take my course doesn't mean you won't start a business. I'm just saying, like, if the reason you're not doing it is the laziness of I just can't stand friction of platforms, then I'm like, well, there's always Joel Osteen. His shit's all over the internet. Go get busy. Let's see. But putting yourself on a desert island minimizes that ability. It seems like there should be a middle ground solution. Well, and I don't think it's necessarily a desert island. I see it more as a middle ground solution. What's it called? Where am I at with it? Putting yourself, yeah, I don't necessarily see it as putting myself on a desert island, but I think the one presupposition you may have made in your original statement, you said, is helping people the point? The answer is no. Helping 2% of the world that will actually do something is my point. And I know that 2% is more likely to look for a thing on Amazon Prime than they are to find me shaking my ass on TikTok. You feel me? So no, I'm not here to help everybody. And not because I wouldn't. Let me be clear about that. I'm not here to help everybody, not because I don't have the desire to help everybody, but because I don't have the capability. Right? I can only, it's like that phrase that, I think it was Joe Salatin gave me that one. He says, I'll carry a man, but damn it, don't drag your feet. And the internet is a lot, I see a lot of people dragging their damn feet, and it's like, I'll help that person when they get hungry enough to stand up and let me help them. All right, Caitlin Ruffin says, I would love to be known as a philosopher. Philosophers don't get canceled because most times people assume they're already dead. That's a good one. That's good shit. Let's see. Ryan says, Sid Meier's Chambersitation. That's funny as shit. Let's see. And by the way, everything I'm throwing at you guys that's challenging what you're saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm needing you to continue challenging me. So please keep at it. I'm just, this is how I think, is this kind of antagonistic sparring helps me to get my thoughts out, man. But yeah, I do agree that there is a middle ground, but I'm definitely more on the side of fuck it. Just give me the fucking 300 Spartans, because I don't want to work with nobody else. And that's something I learned even in teaching my kids in school. Long term, I can't teach homeschool unless I have control of the reins completely. You know what I mean? And my kids aren't watching bullshit YouTube videos about whatever, where the teacher's reading a book to them. Like, I could have read him this book in a second and a half. Let me go get a real book and read him some good shit. But like, just I've learned from teaching kindergarten and first grade that I am more wired to work with either people who are already elites or people who have elite potential in that they just haven't tapped into yet. Right? Or they have some type of depression or psychosis, something that's keeping them from their potential, that's holding them back, and they don't realize what's sabotaging their greatness. Because believe me, greatness smells greatness. Period. Game recognize game. Is how that works. So a lot of you, those of you that I interact with on a regular basis, it's like, yep, I recognize your greatness. Totally. All right, who else we got here? Let's see. See, Ryan says, B, I feel like I'm testing your patience with my stumbles right now. I'm giving myself a little credit because I literally have been feeling like feces and scrambling to get... Why do you feel like you're testing my patience? That's not happening. None of my patience has been tested by anything you've done, brother. But yeah, the speed bump between you and customers weeds out the. Yes. Like, you know how many times I've done shit on seminars that I knew would piss off people who were easily offended, just so I wouldn't have to deal with them as a customer. Like, I don't want you in my program. Because you're inevitably, I'm gonna have to hear from you about some personal narcissistic shit that I don't care that you're offended. Like I don't want to offend anybody. I don't set out to say or do anything that hurts another human soul ever, ever. Right? So if you're offended, check yourself, because nothing I'm saying is intended to do that. You know what I mean? And so I'll do things for like really hypersensitive people to stuff like that. I'll do things that'll say, "Ooh, I don't like this guy." I'm like, "Good, thank God." Please don't start liking me. You know, like I'm totally okay with that person saying, no, I don't like this guy so much. I'm like, good, please stay that way. Because if you're so quick to judge a human based on what you can see in like a 30-second video clip, you're just too silly to be around me as a human. Like, I don't want people. Like, that's why when people, the age-old question, B, how do you get toxic people out of your life? Never let them in. I don't have that problem. Because if you toxic, your ass ain't hanging around me. Your ass gonna be gone. Or I will be gone and just let you hang around. Philosophers of any importance don't get canceled. They get killed. That's true. It's funny because Socrates could have stopped them from killing him and he went along with it. That dude was a fucking gangster. I think this back and forth sharpens your thoughts. Absolutely. Always. I can build us some power armor. Hell, if you can build us power armor, dude, fuck it. Let's just kick Fallout. Let's just kick off Fallout now. Because that world's going to be so much fun. Let's say, I don't think this is you, but if it was anyone else, I'd say you were going to prime to hide. That's interesting. I don't know. Maybe in a roundabout way, that's true for me too. You know what I mean? Like I'm certainly not trying to hide, but maybe I am. Maybe I don't. Maybe stupidity is such kryptonite to me that I just want to be in places where it doesn't exist. But of course, it exists everywhere, right? Whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm certainly not trying to hide. I think for me, I don't want to waste time. Like, I don't want to waste time on the 98% of people who are going to hear what I say, think it sounds cool, tell me how inspired they are, and then do nothing. Right? And I realize, too, that I'm catching a lot of people on some of these platforms when they're really young, so they're not even thinking elite level shit yet. So that I get. You know what I mean? Like, young people can be totally, superstar potential and not even be tapped into it. But usually the young people who are tapped into it find me anyway, so I'm always surprised when someone's like, "Yeah, I've been following you since I was 16." Like, what? But yeah, not to hide, but more to, I just know the type of people. Like, and that's a good point to segue into. Like, I produce content for the engagement, not for the views, not for the subscribers, not for the ads, the money from the views, because I don't get paid for views anyway. But like, I'm producing content specifically for engagement from other humans. So it would make sense that I would want the engagement to be from people I enjoy engaging with. And putting my content on platforms that have a barrier to entry gives me just one more rung, a hoop that someone has to jump through, that I can correlate their psychological laziness with they're probably not right. You know what I mean? Like that the hoop that they're having to jump through correlates to them being way more likely to not only engage with me but make it a pleasant engagement for having engaged. And don't get me wrong, probably 80% of the engagements I have now on social media are very pleasant. Right? They're cool. I just don't have any like dreams of being someone that has 20 million people shouting my name every time I make a video like that. I don't know if that's interesting to me. Like, I wonder how many people have watched Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success series that's on Amazon Prime. I've watched it probably 6 times. If you've been in one of my courses, you were told to watch it. Whether you watched it or not depends on the type of person you are, or your life. You may not have had time or whatever. I've certainly taken courses where I didn't finish it because I got what I felt like I needed and I bounced. But I wonder how many people have watched that Napoleon Hill show. Because if I could get those numbers, then I know how many people are on the platform for the stuff. And don't get me wrong. Like, I've also thought not just about the gaming side of it, but even like the videos that I've tried to produce on YouTube in life and business strategy that just don't really have a place here, to me, work better on an Amazon. Now, I'll get maybe 300 views a year, but those 300 views might be people that I do a business deal with, right? Or help them start a company that they give me a percentage of, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, I may only get 300 people a year, but those 300 people, like, could lead one to having a way higher impact than the 2 million who watched my, Soldier Goes to Heaven poem, right? So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it too. Is you're 100% right that I'm filtering, but it's like I'm filtering for quality, not like you said to hide or anything. It's just like, no, I may only get 300 views in that year, but those 300 cats are dudes I want to talk to. You know what I mean? They're like you guys, the guys that come on my streams. Like you, I would include you guys in that number. Like the people that come on my streams every night, it's because you're getting something good out of what I'm saying, hopefully, and then I assume your life's improving. Right, so we're all kind of winning together. Like, I assume you guys would be the people that I would normally be reaching. Yeah, like I would take that 300 views that leads to potentially millions of dollars changing hands over 2 million views that is mostly people that just got a nice feeling and moved on. I don't know. Just a thought. I don't know where I'm at with that. Just something I'm thinking based on your comment. Let's see. Yeah, and see, I would build friction with discoverability, right? Like, I could name some names of people that you guys wouldn't have heard of, and it is on purpose. You know what I mean? Because the further I go down this journey, I do think I'm going to get more reclusive. Because I don't know that I'm the person who's wired to be connected to everybody. I don't know. That's still something that I'm pondering. But I would create friction even in discoverability. Or at the very least, I'd let you discover me and realize very quickly that you hate me. So I don't have to deal with the inevitable trying to help somebody that I end up not being able to help. Because I'd rather focus that time helping people who are actually going to do the thing. You know what I mean? Ryan says, not exactly testing your patience, but my telltale that I've set on your give a fornication gauge in my head is like 10% above the drag foot I'm experiencing. It's just artificial gate. I don't even know what that whole paragraph means. The telltale that I've set on your given F in my head is like 10% above the drag foot I'm experiencing. Oh, you're talking about the carry a man but don't... Dude, you're not dragging. Yeah, no. If I'm reading that weird paragraph you just wrote, because I'm too stupid to understand you, no. No, nobody here is dragging any feet. Let me be really clear. Like, I'm having this discussion with you guys because I respect you and I trust and respect your freaking thoughts and opinions because I consider you part of the nucleus of this community that I'm working to build. If you're on this stream, none of the people that I'm talking about not wanting to reach are here right now. Because you couldn't be. How would you even know to be here? It couldn't happen. But there is some truth to what Boom is saying. Maybe not build in entire friction to discoverability, but I definitely don't need to get found by everybody. But and then just the nature of attention builds in enough friction for discoverability. Like yeah, like I for real, the way I see the next 10 years playing out, I don't know that I'm on social media at all. And I don't care because by then I will have built enough of the community in places where I'm talking with all of you that I don't need to be on social media making just one more 1 minute video about how to change your life. Like once I hit a threshold of where I'm happy interacting with humans, I can ride off into the sunset and let you guys handle. Like I can just send other people to social media that can spread the messages and shit. I don't, and that's where I say I'm way more entrepreneur, and that's why I think a lot of y'all's responses maybe is showing me that I'm way more entrepreneur than artist, because a lot of what you guys are talking about sounds a lot more like artistry. And I'm looking at it like, dude, I can pay someone to say shit on TikTok. I don't need to be there. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't know. One of the radio show hosts I listened to late at night, and this is coming from Pistachio, created their own environment online, digital libraries of documents, videos, movies. Oh, hey, I need a link to that. I need to be looking at that immediately. Caitlin says, and I'm looking at my YouTube because I'm way behind on comments on my laptop, but Caitlin just said another solution would be, damn it, YouTube. It scrolled before I could finish reading it. All right, I'll catch up. Shannon says, in all seriousness, I watched your TikToks for probably at least a few weeks, if not a month, before I even went to your site. And then when I did, your site, it is the 30-day challenge, so that's when I started to really engage with you. Yep, makes total sense. And that's cool because you are definitely, you are the epitome of my target audience, right? Like Shannon would be the poster child for the people that I'm trying to reach. People like her, people like Pocket, people like Ryan. You guys are the poster child. And I mean, what I mean by that is you guys are people that I talk to off of this social media shit, right? Like you guys are the poster child for who I am working to reach on the internet. And the rest of you that are here too. I'm singling those three out. I'm not trying to exclude the rest of you. But you guys represent my target audience, right? So you would have inevitably found me one way or the other through some means of my internet tomfoolery, I'm sure. Social media, word of mouth advertising is powerful. You could create an environment of people who want to be there and invested, and those who are at least curious enough to knock on the door. Indeed. Ryan says, your personal dollars per click is insanely high compared to any ad revenue you could get. Ryan says, so you don't care if you only get a 1% return on 300 videos if that 1% gives you 30. Exactly. 100%. Like, I would rather have 500 viewers who were all billionaires funding the shit that I want to do to save the world than talk to 2 million people. And what's funny is those type of people, believe it or not, you're not going to see them in the comments because they're not here. Those type of people follow the shit I do. I know because I get emails from them. You know what I mean? Like there's people, who own multi-million dollar enterprises who follow my shit, and who I've coached. So yeah, make no mistake, my target audience is finding me. I'm looking for ways to take all of us and go hang out somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of the rest of the world. And then like some of the people I've raised up can go be the folks out on social media, leading the charge there. And then eventually they'll lead folks my way when it's appropriate. See, Clem says, I'm addicted to the dopamine you produce. Better than wasting money on them lines. Yeah. I've never had those lines, man, but I'm glad that you think the bullshit that I say on the internet is better than that. Also, what other YouTube celebrity butthead can I text right now and get a response in minutes to hours? Well, that's because I'm a loser who doesn't have a life because my children own me. So, I mean, you're awesome too, Ryan. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, don't think you're too awesome. I kind of suck, is the. Let's see. Boom says, I get that. I try to get people to have their clients self pre-qualify. If they don't like you instantly, then you never have to talk to them. Yeah, yeah. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly. Yeah, Boom's got some great points, man. I appreciate you, Boom. Ryan says, "Oh no, not like that. I'm motivated, no lie, but I'm talking about the filter level. I can see how someone at my place, but without any of the current barriers or stressors, would. No, that doesn't piss me off at all, because it's not a person's. It's not a person's. I'm not evaluating the person based on their current performance. I'm evaluating them based on their potential and their willingness. That's all. Like, uh, I'm never judging. Like, I never look at a person's results and immediately make a judgment. I'm going to look at what I think their potential is based on what I can read from them and what their willingness to do what's necessary to win. And usually I can read that in a person very quickly. That doesn't take long to pick up on. And a lot of it is betrayed in the intelligence of y'all's posts. Right? Like, we all joke about being morons and shit, but at the end of the day, everyone here is above average intelligence. Let's just go ahead and accept that, right? No matter how dumb some of the shit I say is, it's no mystery that everyone here is above the average intelligence. Probably well above it. Right? So no, I'm never looking at, like, stumbling is part of the game. Like, that doesn't piss, like, not producing isn't what pisses me off. What pisses me off is unwillingness. That's the only thing that frustrates me, is like when I see stupid comments, right? And usually it doesn't have any effect on me because I don't see them. But when I do, what bothers me about it is this person couldn't even be fucking bothered to put two brain cells together to write something less stupid than this shit. Like, it's not the results that you're getting, or lack of results, or even lack of knowledge. I can work with people that don't know things. My issue is when you're unwilling to reach, like, because if you just don't have potential, then it's more like a pity. Like, I'll help this person as much as I can to get them on their feet. But if you have great potential, and it's like, and you have a desire to reach it, and it's like you're just unwilling to do anything to try to reach it, it's like that's where my frustration is. My frustration is always in the will, not in the, lack of knowledge or execution. It's just I can evaluate people's willingness to be better humans sometimes, not always, based on the things they say on the internet. Yeah. So nah, you're good, homie. Trust me, I'm not a person who's silent about the things I'm thinking or feeling. If someone's annoying me, I'll say that shit. I also don't annoy very easily. Like, there's certain red buttons I have, like stupid people, but I just, most things in life just aren't that serious enough for me to even dedicate the glucose in my brain to being upset about it. It's fine. Like, even this YouTube shit, like, no matter what happens in this decision making process, we're gonna be alright. I'm still gonna be happy. My days are still gonna be amazing. I'm good. Shannon says, I get you want to build a team, and the team should be able to take over helping out the people that you don't want to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, that's part of it too. And it's not that I don't want to deal with people. Maybe it is. Maybe you said that perfectly, and I just need to shut up. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up, guys. Hang with me. How are these multimillionaires finding me? It depends. Most of them through my course. So they saw probably one of the more complicated seminars that I did. Probably, if I had to guess, it was on YouTube. Um, you know, because one of them was in my course, and so I imagine the way they found themselves in the course was honestly, it was the 69 pillars. That's exactly where it started. Was the 69 pillars of success. So anywhere I would have put the 69 pillars of success, that had the drawing power of the right kind of people. That I could have put that on YouTube. I could have put it on Amazon, because actually the original plan was to upload it as a podcast and not even do video. Um, or that was the long term plan. And then we still plan to actually put it on Amazon as a series, and it would have done fine in any of those places. But 69 Pillars was the impetus of a lot of those connections. And some of them I didn't connect on the internet at all. They're connected to shit I do in the real world. So a lot of it comes from just people helping people in the real world, not on the internet. See, Cheese says, I can watch you screaming Sam Porter bridges and still get something more out of it. That's a blessing, man. Soon I will be able to show you. I appreciate that. I look forward to it. I got you, B. It's coming. The place for all of us to hang. Well, shit, I look forward to that. Looking forward to it. Boom, I think he means when he helps you become that multi... Yeah. Don't let... Oh, you're talking to Boom. I thought that was Ryan. I was like, don't let Ryan fool you. He's already a billionaire. The starving artist is just a front. He doesn't want you guys asking him for all his money. Yeah, Ryan says tracking willingness to win. Yeah. And it actually, that comes from a conversation I had with one of my buddies that played in the NFL. And I was working a shitty job that paid tons of money, which don't do that with your life. It sucks. Like lots of money. But I hated it. And I was explaining to him, this was God, I don't know, this is over a decade ago for sure. But anywho, sitting at the table, we're at the bowling alley hanging, our little men's hangout group, and I was just telling him about my work experience, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I get that. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're on a team that doesn't want to win. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, when I played in the NFL, I played on a couple of different teams. You could tell the teams that wanted to win and the teams that were just happy to be in the NFL and weren't serious about the game. He's like, you're on a team that doesn't want to win. He's like, and you can't take that because you're a Hall of Fame type player. You can't be on a team that doesn't want to win because your whole process is going to go straight to nihilism. It's going to be like, if we're not here to win, then fuck it. Let's just all get drunk, high, and eat Twizzlers. What the fuck are we playing this game for if we're just going to be trying to drive a RAV4 for the rest of our lives? Copyright Kanye West. Right? So it's one of those things where he was explaining to me, your problem in the world right now is you're a fucking elite level, soldier, athlete, whatever, and you're playing with fucking scrubs. He's like, and you will never do good. And he basically told me the story when he left the NFL, at the height of his NFL career, he went to go be a pastor of a church, and he was at a church where the people were just complacent, didn't give a shit, and it was just like, he was like, I had to leave. I couldn't be, and they were all shocked that I left. He's like, I can't be here. Y'all are not trying to win the way I'm trying to win. And he's like, he was just giving me advice. He's like, never sync up. And so, like, imagine you're on the internet, millions of people are watching your shit. How often do you think I run into people who don't want to win? Like, they're making excuses and, like, making their losing part of their identity. And you know how hard it is to want to help that person and you can't because their brains just melted so much, probably from their shitty or lack thereof parents. And it's like you want to desperately help that person, but you can't. And that's more probably the hiding thing. That's where the Boom might be right. Maybe I'm hiding from myself, where it's I don't want to face the people I can't help because that shit hurts because I've been them. And I don't want to see, like, I don't mind people struggling. Struggling makes you strong, but suffering is optional. I mean, you're going to go through some type of suffering in this life. You don't get off earth without it, but you ain't got to live in it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I think I'm at. Hey, Mr. Chambers, can I ask can I ask you a question? And you managed to put Mr. Chambers. You are an asshole, but you're my kind of asshole. That's why I love you. Boo. The unwillingness for people to educate or help themselves drives me insane. Right, and that's why we're all attracted to each other, because we're like-minded in that regard. It's like I will help anybody at any level. Just please be willing to do something. That's it. Like I will take a person with zero IQ. If you're willing to, and if you have zero IQ, I'm assuming you can't even speak. So it's like I'm willing to fucking sign language your ass. Like if you're just willing, just be willing to be less or more of something. It's all I'm asking for. But yeah, it drives me crazy too, and it drives me crazy because it's like the thing. Like there was a young guy I was trying to help a couple weeks ago, and for him it didn't really end that well, and it was just like I tried to tell him at the end, my guy, like, you, it, there's so much potential for you to have so much abundance in your life if you would just allow yourself to do it. But this isn't a person who I sat in a room with and could read and could speak with. This was just talking back and forth on text messaging, and it was like, and it's nobody here, guys, so don't start. It was me. No, it was one of those things where I felt so helpless about helping him because he was at a place where there was nothing I could say or do to help the guy. He needed, like, his level of psychosis was so severe that he couldn't see his way out of it. And that's a person that I am particularly that nobody can really help until they get to a place where they are willing to make a change. And that shit was hard to listen to. It was just like, damn, dude, you're suffering and you're causing it on yourself and you don't have to. But he just couldn't see it. And I don't like that. I don't like I want to help that guy, but I can't. And so it's like rather than spend my time trying to help a person that I know this is going to get to the end and not be a thing, it's not that I don't want to help that guy. I'd break an arm off to help that dude. That's time I could have been spent hanging out with Ryan or Shannon or whomever to help them win. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more effective for me to focus my time on the people who are trying to win. And that's kind of what I've been wrestling with social. Because, listen, if I wanted to be famous, I'd be there already. I know how the game works. Like, I would do exactly what Ryan showed me the other night, which would make me want to shoot myself in the mouth, make corny bullshit rap songs about intelligent shit, and silly white people will watch that shit in droves. Black people will make fun of me, like, what the fuck is this? But white people will listen to this rap, Timmy. Come here and watch this old black man. He raps like you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, silly uninformed white people will eat that shit up. And I'm joking about the race thing, guys. It's I don't have to explain that to this audience. You get it. But it's like nothing is less interesting to me than having to make something that you need to know fun just so you'll fucking listen to it for 30 seconds. Nothing makes me more like fuck entertainment than are you serious that I have to rap about business to get your dumbass to start one? Then just don't. Like, I would rather the whole world be poor than me make goddamn corny raps about science and psychology. But if I did it, I'd be famous in a month. Because I can rap like really good compared to the average person. Right? I'm not fucking Jay-Z, but I'm whatever the worst version of fucking Jay-Z is, which is still better than every other person on the planet at rapping who doesn't rap. I'm good at the shit. And I could totally, and it's like, I even thought about, could I write raps for the shit I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not, and it's because I don't, like, yes, that would reach millions of people, but I'd have the same problem, which is only 13 of these millions of people are actually the people I'm talking to. So going back to Boom's point is, yes, I have tons of exposure, but it's pointless exposure. When I could have less exposure and actually be attracting the people I want to attract faster. You know what I mean? Because, not because I put a barrier to entry, but because I just went, and that's probably the way I would look at it in terms of, I'm not trying to create a barrier to my content. I'm just trying to produce content the way I want to make it in a place where I know that people are looking for that specific thing. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. Like, I'm not trying to create a barrier, because if millions of people want to watch what I'm doing, I want them to. But, there you go. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. What drives me nuts is people who think their opinions are facts, says Clem. Yeah, I did a video on that today on TikTok. We'll see how well it does. So far, it's doing kind of mediocre, but that's cool. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done. Pistachio says, stuff I say on the interwebs probably has me on. Nah, you're not on a watch list, man. They ain't got time to be watching your ass. It's funny, Elon Musk said that at an event. Actually, no, he said it on Joe Rogan's show after an event he and I were both at. Well, we'll just leave it at that. And he was saying, listen, dude, they're not looking at you. They really don't. Because Elon spent a lot of time working with intelligence agencies and shit because of SpaceX. And like, he was just like, dude, like, for real. They ain't looking at you, dog. They really give zero fucks about you. I was like, he's so right. Oh, man. Shit, half the stuff you're probably doing on the internet is going through the government in some way, shape, or form. Let's see. Wow, I am way behind. Jesus Christ, guys, you guys are lighting it up. I'm like an hour behind your comments. It's going to take me an hour to get through them. It's already 1 in the morning. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try to power through this. Shannon says, I'm not coaching you, B, I swear. Yes, you are. That's the cool thing. Well, we'll talk about that on our little chats later. But just know that in our relationship, you will coach me far more than I will ever coach you. And I will prove it to you as you continue to get your business off the ground. What you need to do is digital master space for artists, entrepreneurs, and freelancers. Okay, what's a digital... Oh, makerspace. Now, I could own a company that did that, but I wouldn't want to work at it. Well, first of all, I'm unemployable, so even the companies I own wouldn't hire me. Like, one of the companies I own, the primary owners in my voicemail right now, like, hey, the fuck is going on? Like, I know, I suck. And then, I sat on the board of a nonprofit, and the founder hit me up. It's like, you gonna send us that paperwork, G? And I'm like, what paperwork? They're like, fuck. I was like, look, I told y'all when we got into this that I'm a shitty person and I can't do admin work. So that you got what you paid for when you asked me to be here and start doing fucking paperwork. Like, I am not that guy. I know what I'm good at. It is not that. But like a makerspace for those folks, I could see something like that. You know who already did that is Anik Singal? How do you say his name? Anik Singal. He's one of those internet guru guys. He actually started it not far from where I live. I was at the grand opening because a friend of mine was the lady he brought on as his marketing consultant for the whole launch of his. It's called Learn. Look up LURN and Anik Singal. I think it's Singal. And you probably see, if you look at internet gurus, you've probably seen him. So we kind of helped with his or I was invited to the grand opening. My friend helped with it. I didn't do anything but just shake hands and talk to people. But he's built something similar to that. I'd be curious to know how it's going because I don't hear much about it. But I know he got, like a lot of guys in his space, he got out of the online education space because he realized the money in it was drying up. Let's see. So yeah, I've seen that in action actually. I need to see how it's working for him because it was a huge investment. I know he spent of his own money. I think he dropped $1 million to pull that thing off. VCU has the Da Vinci Center for Product Innovation. That was a kitschy way of saying that. Cool, cool. Ryan says the digital makerspace is the interesting idea. Is an interesting idea. What do you think that would look like? It is an interesting idea. Tell you what, why don't you all of you guys build it and I'll just businessify it. We can all partner together and launch it and we'll be awesome. And then they'll invite us to speak at VidCon about how we built $1 billion makerspace. He said I've done a lot of things for money. Shane left the building decades ago. That's funny. Shannon says totally agree with the suffering part. Let's see. Boom says I like the idea of a warrior leader makerspace. It's like a high touch mastermind. Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been building. At least the classes in the Good Life Playbook are that. It's just how would we build the digital community around it that people actually want to interact with when they're so used to things like Facebook and TikTok. That's what I've always found to be the problem when I've built online platforms that are off of the major ones is getting people to get there and keeping them active and keeping them, engaged. Unless it's a very niche thing that all the people there are super interested in, it's kind of hard to pull that off. But not saying it's impossible. It can be done. Shannon says, "Old black man, good impersonation of white people." I think it's hilarious that Shannon thinks I sound like LL Cool J. Like I'm a country ass bumpkin. Actually, I'm not. I've kind of lived all over the place, but oh, someone made Shannon fall over laughing. This is better than TikTok edition. Yeah, and this is why I think I'm finally caught up to the comments now. It looks like. Pistachio says that's why I started my business. Nobody would hire me. Unfortunately, no diversifying and being too loyal fucked me. I have to tell. Yeah, man. Rock Bottom does have cool water and a nice bed. Believe it or not. Let's see, Caitlin Ruffin says, a better place would be Skillshare since it's designed for people wanting to take action. Interesting. Okay, so Skillshare. Um, I've looked into making, what's the name of that platform? Kajabi. I've looked at moving everything there because then the community is a part of it. All the videos for the courses are there. There's surveys. I can print you guys certificates when you complete courses. Like, it gets pretty cool. I just took Jordan Peterson's class on Kajabi, and it was fantastic. Um, and beyond the financial investment, which is very minimal, I'd spend it now, but it's the like getting the platform squared away. It's like I think I'd be better off probably getting a team together that could build it out. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to take action on anything like that right away. Plus, I hear tell people are building things on my behalf, so I definitely want to know what all that is before I start talking about platform switches. Only when you rap, B. That's cool. I've never been compared to LL Cool J when I rap. I usually get compared to Black Thought, who was the guy I call Sensei. Um, I get compared to Chuck D. But I think you guys have heard more of my chill songs. Like, I have some pretty heavy ones that are me basically screaming at the audience. Yeah, I've even thought about going back to running message forums. Believe it or not, as archaic as that is, it's way, first of all, it's way better for conversation than social media will ever be, because social media doesn't care about actual conversation. They just care about keeping your attention long enough to sell you shit. Um, but I don't know. All right, cool. I caught up to. Hey guys, thank you so much. Shit, I've kept you all here till 1 in the morning. I plan to be done by 11. Jeez. Um, but first of all, thank you to every effing one of you. I'm not even gonna bother trying to name everybody because there was too many of you here helping out. In fact, there's been 289 of you here tonight. So thank you to each of you who have dropped by to see what's happening. Cheese says, I love message forums. Yeah, I used to run one. That's how I actually got started on quote unquote social media. I built my own website and message forum and then eventually tried to build something like Facebook using some third party tools. And it worked okay. It wasn't perfect, but I just didn't have we didn't have social media to drum up. Like back then, you had to get clicks from Google. It was the only way people found you. And as much SEO as my website had, and in fact, my website actually got for like 1 or 2 solid years, we got a lot of great traffic. I mean, there were days. I mean, I had days where 100,000 people were hitting the website. So that stuff was cool. But it still was hard to retain that. Like, it was hard to, you could get that attention, but keeping it and then getting that attention to engage was near impossible. Like my message forums and communities always did better than the average. The average is about 10%. So if you have a message forum that has 100 people, 10 of them are active. Mine was always about 20. But that was because I was crazily active and keeping people engaged, and I think I pissed everybody off at some point because I'm crazy. So I gave people stuff to scream about. Let's see. Shannon says, my 10-year-old asked, is he live right now? I said, because he's crazy. And why are you awake? All errors are people errors. Yes, indeed. Ryan says, FedEx flies space available like luggage on some flights, but also operates out of the same hubs as commercial airlines because the surface transportation infrastructure is there. Word. All right, hey guys, ladies, thank you. This has been helpful. I don't think I've reached a decision, and certainly the Amazon Prime piece. I really don't have a plan to do that anytime soon, if I do it at all. I wanted to throw it out there as kind of the nuclear option, just so you guys knew it was something in my head. And as Boom pointed out, it's kind of dramatic, a dramatic change. I haven't ruled that out for long term, um, but you know, I just as far as the YouTube stuff goes, I'm guessing maybe I start a Collector versus Wild channel, which by the way I've already started the channel. You can find it and subscribe to it if you want. Just look up Collector versus Wild. It should be a green bubble with the letter B in it because I think it named the B. The channel was my name, and then I changed it to Collector versus Wild. Uh, but yeah, boom, well said. The I'm guessing in the short term, what I may experiment with is I've already created the Collector versus Wild channel. I have an idea that I'm gonna do for a holiday show for that channel. So that's a thing I'm committed to doing at least that. The dilemma was, do I just put it on the Bryant Chambers channel and accept that only 135 people are going to see it because YouTube will actively keep it out of my subscribers' feeds and out of search? You know, like, got it. Thank you, YouTube. But, or do I put it on its own channel and potentially run it as an experiment, potentially something that I would commit to? Now, here's the flip side, like the business side of it. Yes, I am working on a product that Collector versus Wild would help sell. It's a product that would hugely benefit uh, collectors of video games, especially collectors like me that started collecting when, you know, games came in different types of cases that were harder to maintain. So yeah, now that's not the intent behind Collector versus Wild, is to sell that product. I just know that having an audience there selling that product would be easier. Uh, a product that you need to hit me back about. What was I supposed to hit you? I thought I gave you all the stuff, the things. I don't know. Was I supposed to hit you back? Is it called eBay? No, not at all. It's not about helping people find stuff. It's about helping people protect shit. But more on that later. Um, so maybe I just go ahead and create the channel, and if I like it, I stick with it. If not, I roll on. So what I see happening there potentially is the Collector versus Wild show. Like, I've already got the holiday show, the theme for it planned out. I just don't know how I'm shooting it yet, and I don't know what I'm covering. Which is This is way late in the game to be figuring that shit out. But whatever. Uh, and then doing the live streams that I typically do here, I would move there, so you guys would have to subscribe to the channel. And then what's it called? And then like taking my TikTok videos that I do for Collector versus Wild and editing them to make them YouTube appropriate, and then like uploading those as like montages or how we document the process. So, all right, that's and I just need to decide whether or not I'm going to do it. And part of that comes down to, am I committed to actually doing this show? Which that's really where the dilemma is. I don't know where my commitment level is because I have a little bit of artist in me, but the artist in me gets exhausted very fast with the process. You know, I'm not the guy. I love the process of making art. No, the process of making Collector versus Wild sucks. You know, coming up with the ideas and the themes and the things I'm going to say, that's fun, but the actual execution of it is not really all that fun. So, and I can outsource that, so that's not an issue anyway. But anywho, I got to figure it out. I'll put some more thought on it. But you guys have definitely given me a lot to think about. So yeah, I appreciate it. Anyway, it's time for you guys to go to bed. You're all wonderful Americans. I realize we played Death Stranding for all of 3 minutes before you've just been looking at the pause screen for the last several hours. But hey, that's what you get when you come to one of my streams. But I promise, when we go to Collector versus Wild, we'll play more of the games. And plus, there I can start streaming different shit too, because I don't want to just be committed to one game forever. You know what I mean? Like, I want to start streaming multiple games because there's other stuff I want to start playing. But I do like I've been obsessed with Death Stranding because I want to get it over with. Like, I'm at the point now where the game is fun, but I get it. It's like I'm kind of ready to just move on with it. Anywho, you guys are great, wonderful human beings, Koreans, Americans, all of you. Asian power, y'all. I love you to death. I love you to life. How about that? And I will most likely, I'm trying to think, what do I have going on tomorrow? I know I've got, I got to go see my mom tomorrow. to check on some technology stuff for her. I will be streaming tomorrow. I know we typically do our Thursday night live. I just don't know when. I don't know when I'll be back at the house to start it. Also, next week, starting Sunday, I'll be out of pocket. I won't be streaming gaming stuff. I may still get the opportunity to stream on my phone or my laptop because I will be on my anniversary trip with the missus. So, and that's what you guys missed when I hopped in the car with her on TikTok the other day. Like, oh my God, what does she need to talk to me about? That was it. We're planning our anniversary trip. So, there you go. I love you guys, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.